Good evening, everyone, and happy Memorial Day to everybody. Welcome to another episode of True Crime with the Bad Girl, the Playa, and the Stars. I'm Benny Scala, the one and only Playa. Now, this would normally be the time when I introduce the Bad Girl, Brittany Brown, but unfortunately, Brittany is having some internet problems, so we will miss her tonight. But we will carry on because we're troopers. But I was going to say accompanied by Cash the Wonder Dog is the resident genius of True Crime, Tiffany Star, but I can't quite really say that because he's kind of been hiding, right? So now, Tiffany, I understand you've had a hectic week in your new position of Director of Security for Dangerous Dave's Carnival. I heard he was now licensed in all 50 states as well as the U.S. territory. So I'm hoping you're getting a raise there.
Yes. So as far as Cash goes, I just tried to get him in the room and he stared at me like I had 5 heads and wanted me to leave him alone. So he's laying outside the door. And then as far as Dangerous Dave goes, ladies, he's in Connecticut. So lock your doors, hide your kids, hide your wife.
Small pets, hide them all. And speaking of which, is not the dynamic duo of Dangerous Dave and Terrible Tory Star coming to you from the great state of Connecticut. Dave, I think we need to call that Route 10. Is it Route 10 Diner? And tell them to step their game up as far as their bacon. I saw that breakfast. The eggs look pretty good. The bacon was kind of weak, though.
The eggs were good. The bacon was a little burnt.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast tonight. We got a great.
Dave, can you show your hat a little bit closer to the camera?
Yeah.
Mr. Softy.
We got Richard Kuklinski tonight, who back in the 80s and the 90s I was obsessed with. Back then I followed Richard Kuklinski, the trial, and he killed, for all the people out there that don't know, he was friends with an ice cream truck driver named Mr. Softy, his nickname. And then when Mr. Softy knew too much, he went into the ice cream truck and he offed Mr.
He melted Mr. Softy. No, did you guys have Mr. Softy in Massachusetts?
Well, we have Dairy Queen.
I don't think I've heard of Mr. Softy before.
We had a real ghetto version of Mr. Softy.
Oh my God! Yeah, I don't know if it's just a New York thing or New York, New Jersey, but Mr. Softy came he had this distinctive jingle. You could hear it from blocks away, and you lost your mind, and you try to find that Mr. Softy truck, and he had the best soft ice cream cones. They were to die for. So
yeah, I don't know.
As a kid, you love to hear the term Mr. Softy as a kid, but as an adult, you kind of don't really want to hear that.
I was gonna say I don't know if Dad wants to.
Yeah. Love hearing about Mr. Softy as a kid, as an adult, nah. But all right, guys. Well, real quick, let's pay the bills, and then we'll get on to the case. Dave kind of gave it a start, but here we go with Free Spirited. This is Benny Scala, the one and only Playa. Folks, I am beyond excited to be co-hosting this new show, When It Was Real. And I am just as excited to be announcing our new sponsor, the Free Spirited Company. Free Spirited is a phenomenal old-school clothing company that specializes in short and long-sleeve T-shirts, hoodies, tank tops, graphic tees, heck, even yoga pants. These T-shirts are, to quote Rocky's manager Mickey Goldmill, a wake of art. Yours truly will be rocking the Free Spirited merch on each and every episode of When It Was Real. Not only are these shirts eye-catching, but they are very comfortable as well. Like what you see? Please go to shopfreespirited.com and use our special code MP20 to receive a 20% discount on all purchases. Again, that is shopfreespirited.com, and that code is MP20. As the poet laureate of the Monte and the Pharaoh YouTube channel, I will leave you with this. If you like what you see, go buy a tee. Heck, maybe 2 or 3. When your friends tell you, hey, you look like the bomb, send them over to shopfreespirited.com. Well, guys, we've been covering a lot of newer cases lately, but we're going to take a little trip back in time to the 80s and cover the chilling case of the Iceman, like what I did there. Richard Leonard Kuklinski, also known by his nickname, the Iceman, was an American criminal and leader of a New Jersey-based burglary ring. He engaged in criminal activities for most of his adult life when he distributed pirated pornography, right up Dave's alley, and eventually escalated to at least 5 murders committed between 1980 and 1984 for personal profit. His nickname derives from him freezing the body of one of his victims in an attempt to disguise the time of death. At the time of his crimes, Kuklinski lived with his wife and children in the New Jersey suburb of Dumont. His family stated they were unaware of his crimes. Kuklinski's modus operandi was to lure men to clandestine meetings with the promise of lucrative business deals, then kill them and steal their money. That works. He also killed 2 associates to prevent them from becoming informants. Eventually, Kuklinski came to the attention of law enforcement when an investigation into his burglary gang linked him to several murders, since he was the last person to have seen 5 missing men alive. An 18-month-long undercover operation led to his arrest in December 1986. In 1988, he was convicted of 4 murders and sentenced to life imprisonment. And in 2003, Kuklinski received an additional 30-year sentence after confessing to the 1980 murder of an NYPD detective. After his murder convictions, Kuklinski gave interviews to writers, prosecutors, criminologists, and psychiatrists, anybody who would listen, actually. He claimed to have murdered anywhere from 100 to 200 men, often in gruesome fashion. None of these additional murders have been corroborated. In 2020, ATF Special Agent Dominic Palafrone said, "I don't believe he killed 200 people. I don't believe he killed 100 people. I'll go as high as 15, maybe." Kuklinski also claimed to have worked as a hitman for the mafia. He said he participated in several famous mafia killings, including the disappearance and presumed murder of Teamsters president Jimmy Hoffa. Law enforcement and organized crime experts have expressed skepticism about Kuklinski's claimed mafia ties. He was the subject of 3 HBO documentaries aired in 1992, 2001, and 2003. Several biographies and a 2012 feature film, The Iceman, will elaborate on that. And so now the bad girl, the genius, and terrible Tory will take you through the facts of this tragic case.
All right. Richard Kuklinski was born on April 11th, 1935, in his family's apartment on 4th Street in Jersey City, New Jersey. His father, Stanley Kuklinski, a Polish immigrant. Stanley worked as a brakeman on the Delaware, Lackawanna, that's a strange name, and Western Railroad. His mother was Anna Cecilia McNally, a devoutly Catholic first-generation Irish-American who worked in a meat-packing plant. He was the second of 4 children. According to Kuklinski, his father was a violent alcoholic who beat his children regularly and sometimes beat his wife. Stanley abandoned the family while Richard was still a child, but came back periodically, usually drunk, and his returns were often followed by more beatings for Richard. In 1941, Stanley's beatings caused the death of Kuklinski's older brother, 7-year-old Florian Kuklinski. Stanley and Anna hid the cause of the child's death from the authorities, saying he had fallen down a flight of steps. Kuklinski's younger brother, Joseph Michael Kuklinski, was convicted in 1970 of raping 12-year-old Pamela Dial and murdering her by throwing her off the top of a 5-story building. When asked about his brother's crimes, Kuklinski replied, "We come from the same father." That whole family seems
Hey, Dave, how's that for people?
Oh, the dog, too. He threw her dog and killed her dog, too.
What's that, Benny?
No, I said, how's that for a piece of shit family?
Yeah. The thing is, first, I didn't do this. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me. But this guy, like I said, I was infatuated with this case back in the 80s and the 90s and early 2000s. And he's just, you know what? I mean, to see your father throw your brother down the stairs and get killed and then call the authorities and said he accidentally fell down the stairs. I believe that's how it went. I mean, his brother was in the same prison as he was. They were staying at the same prison, and he said in the interviews that him and his brother would walk by each other, not even talk to each other in prison. That's just a fucked up family. This guy to get initiated as a contract killer for the mafia. He wasn't in the mafia. He didn't make earnings for the mafia every week. He was a contract killer for him, and he went out with one of the mafia people to prove that he could kill, and he wasn't just lying about it. And this prick picked that it was on the side of the road, and a guy was just walking his dog for the night. And Kuklinski got out and said, the mafia guy said, go kill him. Kuklinski got out, walked by him, turned around and shot him in the head while he was walking his dog. Just a piece of shit.
Yeah, well, that's all alleged because no one actually believes that he did anything for the mafia. There was a man who was part of one of the crime families who said that he was in the mafia or whatever for 25 years and literally had never heard of Kuklinski before in his entire life. So those are all alleged. And I think that he's a little psychotic and made up a lot of shit.
Well, he killed one. No, it's not made up. He killed one of the mafia people. I forgot his name. We'll get into it but he wasn't in.
No, that was alleged. They never confirmed. They never had anything proving that he actually killed that person.
Well, he told the story, which made into the authorities, and they found the body, and everything he said matched what the body was like, how he got killed.
No. I disagree with that. I disagree with that statement.
But he was definitely not charged for that though, correct?
No, because they never found anything to link him to it.
Yeah, he was charged and convicted of 5 murders, but then
Tori looks like she has something to add to the conversation.
I disagree with you.
Yes, I know Richard Kuklinski. I long before you were born, I was following Richard Kuklinski. Richard Kuklinski was a contract killer for the mafia. He did not kill 200 people. He did not kill 100 people, and he did not kill Jimmy Hoffa, but he killed for the mafia.
Sure did.
Well, they don't believe that he did.
They do believe he did. That's why
they don't.
Well, they found the mafia guy he killed, Dabio or whatever his name was. They found his body, and he described how he killed him.
There's some controversy because supposedly when he was about 16, I guess as a teenager, he was not. I mean, the guy was a giant. He was like 6'4", 6'5", close to 300 pounds. But I guess he was a skinny teen, and he was bullied. But I guess one day he decided he had enough, and he said that he beat somebody to death with a pool cue, one of his tormentors. But I don't think that was ever proved either, and he was not charged or convicted of that one. So there's a lot of controversy with this guy. Did he do it or did he not do it? We know he killed some people.
Yeah, I believe he killed the animals and the dogs that he claims he killed.
He did. He killed that was.
I'm gonna say this on the air, and everybody's gonna judge me, but I don't really care. But I saw the movie John Wick, and how many people did John Wick kill in that first movie? 100? I don't know, 75.
I don't think I
killed a lot. Yeah,
a lot. The only thing that made me sad is when the guy killed his dog.
Yeah.
I didn't care about anything else. I just cared about that.
Yeah, bastards.
Yeah. I believe he killed the animals.
No, I do too. That I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I watched the documentary on him, but I did not. There was several. I mean, not several. There was a gazillion interviews that he did. Like they said, he interviewed anybody who would talk to him. He gave an interview to, but he just had that look about him that, to me, like killing, he had as much emotion about killing as whether or not to throw out like leftover potato salad from the fridge. I mean,
he laughed a lot during it when he was talking about killing people. He kept smirking, and then he'd have to try not to laugh, like he was trying to laugh about it.
The thing with Richard Kuklinski is he described to the cops that nobody else knew how he shot his victims, where he shot his victims, or if he stabbed his victims, or he did cyanide. So that's why I believe most of what he says. Right. But his wife got paid, got a good sum for all these HBO specials. So, but I believe most of what I believe about 75 to 80% of what he said. 20% I don't believe.
Let's have the genius continue here, and then we can talk about it more.
Anna reportedly was often abusive too. She would beat Richard with broom handles and other household objects. He recalled an incident during his preteen years when his mother attempted to kill his father with a kitchen knife. Anna was a zealous Catholic and believed that stern discipline should be accompanied by a strict religious upbringing. So Richard was raised in the Roman Catholic Church and served as an altar boy. Kuklinski later rejected Catholic. Why can't I say this word?
Catholicism.
Yep, there you go. He didn't want to be Catholic and regarded his mother as a cancer who destroyed everything she touched. Kuklinski and his first wife, Linda, had 2 sons, Richard Jr. and David. While working for a trucking company, he met Barbara Pedrici, a secretary at the same firm. Richard and Linda divorced, and he married Barbara in September 1961 and had 2 daughters, Merrick and Kristen, and a son, Dwayne. I don't really sound like a genius trying to read this.
That's all right.
You have something to say there, David?
No, go ahead.
Continue.
Kuklinski's family and Dumont, New Jersey neighbors were unaware of his criminal activities and instead believed he was a successful businessman. Barbara described him as a wholesome distributor and said he employed an accountant. She did suspect that some of his income was from illegal activities due to their lifestyle and the large amounts of cash he often possessed. However, given his volatility, she never expressed these worries to him, instead maintaining a don't ask questions philosophy when it came to his business life or associates. If Richard suddenly left the house in the middle of the night, Barbara would never ask where he was going. The Kuklinski divorced in 1993 when Richard was in prison. Barbara said the divorce was for money reasons. She continued to visit him in prison, but only about once a year. On June 6, 1984, Kuklinski filed for personal bankruptcy, listing debts of $160,697 and assets of only $300.
I thought that was funny. She divorced him for money reasons, not that he killed people.
I know, right? Not that he murdered Mr. Softy.
Well, the only reason she married him.
Well,
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Betty. The only reason she married him was because he stabbed her and forced her and told her that if she went anywhere that he would kill her and her whole family.
That happened before they got married, or I thought that was during the marriage.
No, that was during.
When they were dating, he did that. Did he stick a knife in her?
Yeah, she told him, she was like, I think that like we need to like stop seeing each other and like take a break. And then he like reached over in the car and like put a knife in her. He cut her. He put a knife in her back and was like, "You're mine. You're not going anywhere." And then didn't he strangle her out or something?
Yeah, he choked her unconscious. Yeah.
And then when she woke up, he's like, "I'm going to bring you home now, and you're not going to say anything." And then she married him.
I was like,
but she divorced him for money reasons.
She sounds like a little wacky.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not playing with a full deck.
Yeah, one of the people in the chat room said he should have been put, if he was alive today, we could put him down on the border as a border agent. That's a great idea. Straighten those illegals out.
You remember the model Rick Martel? He had a thing with arrogance.
Yes.
He would just have cyanide. Just anybody tries to cross the border.
Yeah. Well, give him a hamburger. You like to kill people with cyanide in hamburgers.
Cyanide burgers. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
In the mid-1960s, Kuklinski worked at a Manhattan film lab. At the lab, he accessed master copies of popular films and made bootleg copies of Disney animated movies to sell. Kuklinski also discovered a lucrative market for tapes of pornographic films, making copies and distributing pornography a regular source of income. Through the pornography business, Kuklinski became associated with members of the Gambino crime family, including Roy DeMeo. He was once arrested for passing a bad check, the only crime he was charged with prior to his arrest for murder. He was photographed and fingerprinted, but the charges were dropped after he agreed to pay back the money he owed. Several of his known murder victims were men he met through trafficking, pornography, and drugs. He also headed a burglary group with associates Gary Smith, Barbara Deppner, Daniel Deppner, and Percy House. On January 30th, 1980, Kuklinski killed 42-year-old George Malaban during a meeting to sell him tapes. Malaban was reportedly carrying $27,000 at the time. Malaban's body was discovered a week later on February 5th, 1980, after Kuklinski had placed it in a 55-gallon drum and left it near the Chemtex chemical plant in Jersey City. He cut the tendons of Malaban's leg in order to fit the corpse into the barrel. This was the first murder linked to Kuklinski. Malaban's brother told police officers that Malaban was meeting Kuklinski the day he disappeared. After a plea bargain, Kuklinski admitted to shooting Malaban 5 times, saying it was due to business. It seems like the only people that he was convicted of killing are just kind of like nobody people, I guess. Like they're not, like he's saying that he's like making himself sound like he's like bigger than what he is.
Well, what he did was he ran a criminal enterprise.
Yeah, he ran his own like
criminal
side
enterprise.
He had a gang, his own gang,
and he did stole money and did jobs. And once he thought these people were going to rat on him, that's it.
He didn't really do jobs. It seems like
pornography, and so now all of a sudden he can sell pornography. He can sell I guess he had access to these blank tapes.
Yeah,
and he just went business for himself.
Well, what he did was he had a friend who was in the VHS tape business. Now, back then, you got to put yourself back then when VHS tapes first came out, they were big business. So he killed him to take his collection of VHS tapes and to go sell them on the black market. The guy had no scruples whatsoever. None. He had none.
Obviously, he did because
he had no regard for human life whatsoever.
Well, no, but he ended up having a very successful like porn. Like he had 2 studios. He had like one in California and one on the East Coast. Like it got big.
That's what she said.
Oh wait, it's perfect timing.
Just there you go. I'm just here for wieners. That one's the internet tonight.
My daughter's a wiener type of girl.
I don't know. I just think that he was a loser and made himself sound cooler than what he was, that he killed all these people that were important that he probably didn't even really kill.
Yeah, he wanted to be, but he couldn't because he was Polish.
He was a loser. He was a loser.
Yeah.
And he literally killed people and just like to take their money. Like I don't know. He sucks.
I think a lot of it had to do with how he grew up. He got beat up by his father. He got beat up by his mother. He got bullied by kids. Not that it's an excuse for what he became, but I think he decided. I think the show that I watched, he said, I decided to become, instead of being the abused, I became the abuser, and you just turned the tables. But it's one thing getting revenge on somebody who's bullying you, but then he lived the rest of his life that way.
Yeah, there's a lesson to be learned here. My daughter's really had a great father growing up. He should appreciate me. I never killed anybody or threw anybody off roofs or, like Richard Kuklinski's brother raped and killed the 12-year-old and then dragged her from rooftop to rooftop and threw her down off the roof.
And her dog.
Along with the dog. But the dog survived.
Dave, you're a successful business owner. You own the Carnival. Carnival's doing well, right?
Oh, yeah. We have a freak show.
Business.
We got a freak show in the Carnival. We got a freak show going. $2 to enter, $3 to get out.
Wow.
Yeah.
On April 29th, 1982, Kuklinski met Paul Hoffman, a 51-year-old pharmacist who occasionally browsed the store in Paterson, New Jersey, a storefront with a back room holding a wide variety of stolen items for sale. Hoffman hoped to make... Wow. Can I just go to bed now? Hoffman hoped to make a big profit by purchasing stolen Tagamet, a popular drug to treat peptic ulcers, to resell through his pharmacy. He believed Kuklinski could supply the drugs and badgered him to make a deal. Hoffman was last seen on his way to meet Kuklinski with $25,000 to buy prescription drugs from Kuklinski. After a plea bargain, Kuklinski admitted to killing Hoffman. He stated that he lured Hoffman into a rented garage and tried to shoot him, but the gun jammed. Instead, he beat Hoffman to death with a tire iron. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, and I don't know why that's funny, but he's like, it jammed. I'll just beat him with
these. Don't feel bad.
Oh, okay.
Fuck it. I'll use a tire iron.
Okay. I didn't know if it was just me. He said he then, Tori, you right?
I'm okay.
Hold on, I got some ice here. It's really hot in Connecticut. Got some ice.
This is a disaster tonight. And we need Brittany. He said he then stuffed the body into a 55-gallon drum.
Brittany put a hex on it.
Literally, she cursed the podcast tonight. He said he then stuffed the body into a 55-gallon drum.
Gives the evil eye. I like you.
And left it outside a motel in Little Ferry. One day, Kuklinski noticed that the drum had disappeared, but never learned what had happened to it. Hoffman's body was never recovered. Hold on, I hit something on my...
That's where he messed up, too. Like, it was a big... he probably would have got away with it if he didn't start killing people that were close to him, that were... They said, like, these were, like, people that were like, oh, yeah, I'm going to see Richard. Like, people he knew. And he was killing people close to him that they were last seen with him, and that's how he got caught.
He killed him for no reason. He killed him just to get money. That would, like, literally, he's like, oh, I killed him because, like, of this reason and that reason, and literally there was no reason.
Why couldn't you just make? That's what I don't understand. Why can't you just make the deal? Like, if somebody's buying tapes or somebody's buying Tagamet, why don't you just actually do the transaction? But I mean, it sounded like everybody that he didn't do a good job of covering his tracks, because everybody who knew the people who got killed, they mentioned the name. You know, he went to go see Big Richie or Rich. So I mean, everybody knew. It wasn't like he was a secret.
That's why they said he should have stuck to just killing people that had no idea who he was, like on these hits, instead of killing people.
Maybe use an alias like Hector or something like that.
Yeah.
Does anybody know who Mark is, and why is he horny in our chat room?
What? What are you talking about?
There's somebody named Mark with M-A-R-C, Mark. I'm horny.
Mark wants to join David's carnival, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't see that.
Dave, you hiring?
Well,
Mark's looking for a job.
You got to be initiation fee. Come to the carnival with some money in your trunk. I don't know if you'll leave, but
yeah,
I'll pull a Richard Kuklinski. Yeah, come with $20,000 to get the carnival.
I'll beat you with a fucking tire iron.
Yeah.
By the 1980s, Kuklinski's burglary gang was under investigation by law enforcement. In December 1982, Percy House, a member of the gang, was arrested. House agreed to inform on Kuklinski and was placed in protective custody. Warrants were also issued for the arrest of two other gang members, 37-year-old Gary Smith and Daniel Deppner. Kuklinski urged them to lay low and rented them a room at the York Motel in North Bergen, New Jersey. Smith left the motel to visit his daughter. Kuklinski feared that Smith, after he discussed going straight, might become an informant. Well, you know what that means for Gary Smith.
Oh, boy.
He's a goner. According to the testimony of Barbara Deppner, Kuklinski, Daniel Deppner, and House decided that Smith had to be killed. Kuklinski fed Smith a hamburger laced with cyanide, but when this was slow to work, Daniel Deppner also strangled Smith with a lamp cord. According to forensic pathologist Michael Baden, Smith's death would probably have been attributed to something non-homicidal in nature, such as drug overdose, if Kuklinski had relied solely on the poison. However, the ligature mark around Smith's neck and the fact that the body had been deliberately hidden suggested to investigators that he was murdered.
I think it's funny.
Why didn't he use the tire iron? It worked once before, right?
He hit him under. Is this the one he hit under a mattress?
That's the one in the hotel room, right? That's where this guy used to buy burgers. Hey, meet me at the wherever they want.
What if he had if he had a manual, like 1, take out gun, 2, if gun jams, take out tire iron. If that doesn't work,
well, it was Mr. Softy that showed him how to use cyanide and do how to kill people certain ways. Mr. Softy, like. He met these two. I know he met these two people in the hotel room. He went and got a bag of hamburgers and put cyanide in them, and then when one of them he buried it underneath the bed.
Yeah, what do you think? Room. No one was going to find this body underneath a freaking mattress?
He buried him under the bed.
Yeah, that part is like bizarre to me. Like very bizarre that
they might as well have just left him out on the floor for someone to find.
Yeah, I don't understand. So he was like. How was the mattress on top of the box spring? Like, wasn't there like a bumper? Like, wasn't it like...
It was like a body sandwich. It was a mattress, a body, a box spring.
Yeah, but the body, like you you can see a body. Like, I'm confused.
Imagine renting that hotel room. Like, I'm sleeping on a lumpy, smelly mattress. Like,
you should have just left him laying there on the floor.
I think he put him inside. I think he put him inside the box spring somehow.
Somewhat, but no one was gonna smell that.
I mean, imagine. I mean, that's just awful. Go rent a room, and you're in town for a convention or a circus or a carnival, and you go rent a room, and you go to the room, and you take a shower, and you go to lay down, and something smells in the middle of the night, and you get up, and you're looking around, you find a dead body in the box spring.
It didn't go that far.
Huh?
It didn't go that far. They didn't rent the room. Someone found it. That's why I'm saying that was the dumbest place to hide a body. You obviously are going to get caught. You're putting it in a box spring.
Well, why shoot the ice cream in?
I mean, it's a hotel room that people are going to rent, and you know that they're going to complain that there's, a decaying body or that, some foul smell in the room. You get what, maybe a 4-day head start.
Yeah,
no one noticed, David.
All I know is that this whole thing is bizarre. Richard Kuklinski is a bizarre man who did bizarre things, and my father's bizarre because he's rubbing ice on his face.
And then he's sucking on it and then taking it out of his mouth.
Like the Iceman. I just feel like the Iceman, something the Iceman would do.
This is all Brittany's fault.
Literally. Brittany is not here and everything goes to shit.
Right, yeah. We're going to have to she's going to get docked out of her paycheck there for this one.
After Barbara Deppner did not return with a car to move Smith's body, Kuklinski and Daniel Deppner placed it in between the mattress and box spring. Over the next 4 days, a number of patrons rented the room. I'm sorry.
I told you they went to the room, they rented it. No one believes anything I say. I know Richard Kuklinski. I told you they rented the room.
Dad, we're not disputing that fact. We know
it's that a number of patrons rented the room. Like, so multiple people were renting this room with a dead body under the bed.
Yeah. Over the next 4 days, a number of patrons rented the room, and although they thought the smell in the room was odd, most of them did not think to look between the mattress and box spring. Finally, on December 27th, 1982, after more complaints from guests about the smell, the motel manager investigated and discovered the decomposing corpse.
Imagine just sitting there and you're, as David likes to call it, making love to your partner on top of a decaying corpse.
Hey, if I found the corpse while I was making love, I'd finish the job and worry about the corpse after.
Dad, that's like an offense. Like, you can go to jail for that.
He's not going to touch the corpse. He's not going to make love to the corpse. He's going to.
Oh, that's what I thought he was saying.
What do you think of? What's the matter with you? I'm saying,
is that like necrophilia or something?
I said if I
thought he was going to make love to the. I'm like, this is like, you can't do that.
You can get from that.
No,
I don't get how this didn't. I mean, how did this not like get resolved? That like the very first night that somebody slept in the motel, they had to be overpowering, and like, how did they not catch it right then and there? Like, how many people rented this room?
Tiffany and I stayed in a house in Florida last year, and we walked in. It smelled like freaking garbage disposal mold ass. Yeah. And we called those people right away. We're like, you need to come fix your garbage disposal. And these people are waiting days to move a corpse. It had to have smelled disgusting in there.
I don't care. If I brought a date there and I saw the dead man's face, that's all. Hold on, pal. Just hold on for a few more minutes.
That's disgusting.
So I get the job done.
How did you even sleep? How did you sleep at night? How do people sleep? I can't. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
After Smith's murder, Kuklinski had Daniel Deppner move to an apartment in Bergenfield, New Jersey that belonged to Rich Patterson, then fiance of Kuklinski's daughter, Merrick. Patterson was away at the time, but Kuklinski possessed keys to the apartment. Between February and May 1983, Deppner was killed by Kuklinski. Investigators deduced he was murdered in Patterson's apartment after discovering a bloody carpet. Kuklinski enlisted Patterson's help to dispose of Deppner's body, telling Patterson the victim was a friend in trouble with law enforcement and someone had broken in and killed him over the weekend. He added it was best to dump the body to avoid trouble with the police, then forget about the incident. Kuklinski made a mistake when he informed an associate that he had killed Deppner.
Here's my question. If I'm this Deppner guy, and I already helped Kuklinski kill, one of my associates, my next move is to get in my car and drive as far away as humanly possible from this guy. Like, why would he stick around? How did he not know he was going to be next?
Yeah, I I don't know. I agree. I would have been long gone.
And Kuklinski was a schmoozer. What's the word? Smoozer. Schmoozer. He smoozed him over. He was a good talker. He liked to make people think that he was their best friend. And then
he was. I mean, Richard Kuklinski was a con man. He was a good talker. He was a good talker. He was a con man, and he made friends with these people that he could either steal from, whether it was money or tapes, and once he stole from them, that was it. That was it. Or if he did crime, if he did crimes with them, because he had a burglary, he did a lot of B&Es too. He had people working for him, and after a while, once the shit hit the fan, he would just kill these people. That guy had no loyalty to anybody whatsoever.
No, and he was, I mean, extremely, extremely intimidating. You had just his mere presence. The guy was a giant, and he had no emotion.
No, when you listen to him talk,
none. I mean, as far as killing people,
told you he would like smirk and then like go to laugh and then stop and try to be all serious, like he was laughing when he was talking about how he murdered people.
I mean, no offense, I'm laughing about it because it sounds ridiculous.
He had no education, so
yeah,
I mean,
it does.
Deppner's corpse
street smart though.
Well, yeah, he was, but the whole thing just sounds so ridiculous. Like the stuff that he would do, it's just like, what is wrong with this guy? So I could see why he was trying to not laugh during it. Deppner's corpse was discovered May 14th, 1983, after a bicyclist riding Clinton Road in a wooded area of West Milford, New Jersey, spotted the corpse surrounded by vultures. Kuklinski had wrapped the corpse inside green garbage bags before dumping it. Medical examiners listed Deppner's cause of death as undetermined, although they noted pinkish spots on his skin, a possible sign of cyanide poisoning. Deppner was also strangled. Investigators guessed that Deppner had already been incapacitated, such as by poison, because the partially eaten corpse had no defensive wounds and healthy adult men are rarely killed by strangulation. The medical examiner found Deppner's stomach full of undigested food, indicating that he had died shortly after or during a meal. The beans that Deppner had eaten were burned, so they reasoned the meal was home cooked, since most restaurants would not get away with serving burned food to customers. Investigating officers discovered the corpse just 3 miles away from the ranch where Kuklinski's family often went horseback riding. Deppner was the third Kuklinski associate to be found dead.
Kind of a bummer eating crappy.
I'm just reading. That's why I'm like so distracted. I'm reading.
Who is this Mark guy? Mark, first of all, be quiet, and if you're going to be weird, don't write in the chat because you're being inappropriate, and I don't appreciate you saying weird things about me.
Mark's about 3 seconds away from being removed. Next remark is gone.
I don't think that's his real name.
It's an alias.
I think so too.
Hang on 1 second. Where did he go? All right. Okay, it's Tori's turn, right?
Yes, you're up.
I want to remind everybody I'm very bad at pronouncing things. Okay. On September 25th, 1983, the body of 50-year-old Louis Mazgay was discovered near a town park near Clauslin Mountain Road in Orangetown, New York, with a bullet hole in the back of his head. Mazgay had disappeared over 2 years earlier on July 1st, 1981, the day he was to meet Kuklinski at a New Jersey diner to purchase a large quantity of blank video cassettes, for which Mazgay had $95,000 in his van. After another plea bargain, Kuklinski admitted to shooting Mazgay. His body had been stored in a freezer, then disposed of in the park 15 months later. However, Kuklinski did not thaw the corpse before he dumped it. He also wrapped it in a plastic garbage bag, which kept it insulated and partially frozen. The Rockland County medical examiner found ice crystals inside the body on a warm September day. If the body had thawed before discovery, the medical examiner stated he probably would have never noticed Kuklinski's trickery. Investigators realized Mazgay was wearing the clothes his wife and son said he was wearing the day he disappeared. The discovery that Kuklinski froze Mazgay's corpse encouraged law enforcement officers to nickname him Iceman, a nickname frequently used in headlines. So that wasn't the first time he froze a body. Apparently, the first time he did it, I think he put the body down a well and stored it in a well. And then to take to like the time of death to be like, because he was the last person to be seen with that person too. And it worked. And then he thought it was going to work again, and he was wrong. So, weirdo. In various interviews, Kuklinski claimed to have murdered around 200 people. He alleged he used multiple ways to kill people, including a crossbow, ice picks, a bomb attached to a remote-controlled toy, firearms, grenades, as well as cyanide solution spray he considered to be his favorite. He said he committed his first murder at 14 and murdered homeless people for practice. Wow. In 2006, Paul Smith, a member of the task force involved in arresting Kuklinski and later a supervisor of the organized crime division of the New Jersey Attorney General's office, said, "I checked every one of the murders Kuklinski said he committed, and not one was true." He added, authorities throughout the country could not corroborate one case based on the tidbits Kuklinski gave. In 2020, Dominic Polifrone said, I don't believe he killed 200 people. I don't believe he killed 100 people. I'll go as high as maybe 15 people.
So they do believe he killed other people. They just don't believe most of his stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. To me, that's why I said at the beginning of the show. But he did kill. I think he killed a lot more than 15 people.
They did.
Well, I mean, typically, how many of these killers that we didn't cover him yet? But Gary Ridgway, the Green River killer, he confessed to 48, but they think it might be as high as 100. Even Ted Bundy was convicted of how many? I think 36, and I think it would be like triple that. So you never know.
Like, I don't understand. Like, if you're already in prison, you've been caught, you're not getting out. Why don't you just admit to everything? Like Ted Bundy and them, just admit it. Just say what you did.
Yeah, you gotta. Obviously, I'm not condoning what the guy did, but Jesus, imagine growing up in that house where if you just looked at your father wrong, he'd beat the shit out of you, and he threw your brother down the stairs and killed him right in front of you. Jesus.
Well, they didn't have mental health things back in the day. That's why you're like this. Okay.
There's therapy.
Not normal.
You're wearing.
Oh, by the way, there's no more Mark. We took care of Mark, so no more.
Yes,
Mark.
I saw that Monte had said that, so appreciate that.
I am Monte.
Yeah, Monte and the Pharaoh. It was over there. It said that.
Kuklinski also alleged he was a mafia contract killer, independently working for all the 5 families of New York City, as well as the Cavalcante. How do you say that, Benny?
The Cavalcante
family of New Jersey. He claimed he
Cavalcante.
carried out dozens of murders on behalf of Gambino family soldier Roy DeMeo. He said he was one of the murderers of the Bonanno family boss, Carmine Galante. In July 1979, and Gambino's family boss, Paul Castellano, in December of 1985. For the Castellano murder, Kuklinski said he was personally recruited by John Gotti's ally, Sammy Gravano, who instructed him to kill Castellano's driver and bodyguard, Thomas Bellotti. He told Philip Carlo he was hired by John Gotti to kidnap, torture, and murder John Favara, the man who accidentally hit and killed Gotti's 12-year-old son, Frank, with his car. I think this man is delusional.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that this stuff, I don't think it happened.
This is almost like he's almost like a wrestler with the stories,
Yeah.
He never had anything to do with John Gotti.
That's the first I'm reading this, that John Gotti hired you to kill the man that killed.
Well, that's why I'm saying I don't think he ever did anything with the mafia, because even the guy who was like, I've literally never heard of this man before in my life, and I've been doing this for 25 years.
Okay, you gotta realize something. First of all, he did not have anything to do with Big Paulie Castellano getting murdered, John Gotti. But you gotta they're paying when he's in prison now. He's got nothing to lose. He's being paid to do interviews. Of course, he's going to embellish. I'd embellish. Who wouldn't embellish? You're in prison. What else you got to do? But he had nothing.
That's what I think Tori was making that point earlier. You know, if you're in prison, you know, and you've been convicted at 36, I mean, do you have anything to lose to say, well, you know what, I really killed 89?
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
Who at that point? I mean, the punishment's already. You're not going to get tried again. You know, you're not going to ever get out of jail. Why not fess up and say, you know, here's how many I really killed? Because you know that these guys keep track of that stuff. All of them do.
Right.
Right. Yeah, they definitely do.
I would like to see his confessions from when they first brought him into the police station and interviewed him in the interrogated him in the interrogation.
Do they have those?
That's
like
what
the
I
tapes?
No, I didn't see anything.
That's what I would like to see, because that's when you tell, you know, he's going to tell the truth then before now he's doing HBO specials. He's going to say anything, but he had absolutely nothing to do with John Gotti or Gravano or Big Paul Castellano's murder. He had nothing to do with that.
I don't know. Kuklinski came to the attention of Pat Kane, an officer with the New Jersey State Police, when an informant helped Kane connect him to a gang carrying out burglaries in northern New Jersey. Kane built a file on Kuklinski. Eventually, 5 unsolved homicides, Hoffman, Smith, Deppner, Mazgay, and Maliband, were linked to Kuklinski because he was the last person to see each of them alive. A joint task force of law enforcement officials titled Operation Iceman was created between the New Jersey Attorney General's Office and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, dedicated to arresting and convicting Kuklinski. The ATF was involved due to Kuklinski's firearm sales. ATF Special Agent Dominic's, I'm not going to say his last name, went undercover for 18 months to apprehend Kuklinski. Starting in 1985, Kane and Dominic P. worked with Phil Salamini, a close longtime friend of Kuklinski, to get Dominic P. close to Kuklinski, posing as a mafia-connected criminal named Dominic Provenzano. Dominic P. purchased a handgun muffler combination from Kuklinski. In recordings, Kuklinski discussed a corpse he kept in a freezer for 2.5 years. He told Dominic P. he preferred poisoning, saying, "Why be messy? Do it nice and calm." He asked Dominic P. if he could supply him with pure cyanide. Pharaoh told Kuklinski he wanted to hire him to murder a wealthy Jewish cocaine dealer and recorded Kuklinski's detail about how he would do it. Kuklinski was also recorded boasting he killed a man that put cyanide on his hamburger and of his plans to kill a couple of blacks, Barbara Deppner and Percy House. I don't understand, though. This man claims he read all these books about all the mafia. Don't you know to keep your mouth shut and you're just going on, talking to someone you just met?
Because he wasn't part of the mafia.
Yeah.
I really think once he got in jail, though, he knew he got convicted of the 4. No way he's getting out of jail. I think this guy was just having fun with everybody.
Yeah.
I think that's why he's laughing. If you watch that HBO documentary when he's like describing like what he did, who he worked for, all these murders, you could see him like I said multiple times, like going to laugh about it because I think he was lying. Like I think he thought this was hilarious.
I think he was working the room. I really do.
Yeah.
On December 17th, 1986, Kuklinski met Pharaoh to get cyanide for a planned murder, which was to be an attempt on an undercover police officer. After the recorded conversation with Pharaoh, Kuklinski went for a walk. He tested Pharaoh's purported cyanide on a stray dog using a hamburger as bait and saw it was not poison. Suspicious, Kuklinski decided not to go through with the planned murder and went home instead. He was arrested at a roadblock 2 hours later. Kuklinski's wife was charged for interfering with her husband's arrest, and officers discovered a firearm in the vehicle, and she was charged with possession of a firearm because she was a passenger. Prosecutors charged Kuklinski with 5 counts of murder and 6 weapons violations, as well as attempted murder, robbery, and attempted robbery. Law enforcement officials said Kuklinski had large sums of money in Swiss bank accounts and a reservation on a flight to that country. Kuklinski was held on a $2 million bail bond and required to surrender his passport. After their arrest, Kuklinski told reporters, "This is unwarranted, unnecessary. These guys watch too many movies." At a press conference, New Jersey State Attorney General W. Carrie Edwards characterized the motive for the murders as profit and said he set individuals up for business deals. They disappeared and the money ended up in his hands. At trial, Kuklinski's former associates, including Percy House and Barbara Deppner, gave evidence against him, as did ATF Special Agent Paula Frone. The case was prosecuted by Deputy Attorney General Robert Carroll, and Kuklinski was represented by a public defender. Kuklinski's lawyer argued Kuklinski had no history of violence and only projected a tough image.
Bullshit.
Including his statements to ATF Special Agent Paula Frone. The defense theorized Deppner was responsible for the murder of Smith, and there was no cause of death determined for Deppner. Additionally, he argued the testimony of House and Barbara Deppner was unreliable because they lied to law enforcement officials, and House received immunity from prosecution. In March 1988, jurors found Kuklinski guilty of murdering Smith and Deppner, but found the deaths were not proven to be by Kuklinski's conduct, so that he would not face the death penalty. He was sentenced to a minimum of 60 years in prison. You're going to say this man wasn't violent? He was out here murdering kitty cats and doggies.
You got to remember too, the reason he wanted
He should have gotten the death penalty for trying to poison that dog.
Yeah.
I know. Thank God it didn't work.
The reason he was
right. I was so happy when I read that. Yes.
Yeah.
The reason he's trying to get cyanide from the other cover cop because he's already iced Mr. Softy.
Yeah, that was.
He used to get the cyanide from Mr. Softy, but he already iced Mr. Softy.
Yes, he did. After the trial, Kuklinski pled guilty to killing Mazgay and Malaban and was sentenced to an additional 2 life sentences to be served consecutively. State prosecutors explained he would spend the rest of his life in prison, even if he successfully appealed his previous convictions. Kuklinski also confessed to killing Hoffman, but prosecutors decided not to go to trial as they had a weak case and additional life sentences would not have made any difference to Kuklinski's prison term. As part of the plea bargains, the firearm charge against his wife and an unrelated marijuana possession charge against his son were dismissed. Kuklinski was ineligible for parole until 2046, when he would have been 111 years old. He was incarcerated at Trenton State Prison.
Is like anybody normal here? Like, so the son had marijuana, the wife has firearm. What the hell, man?
No.
This whole thing is a disaster.
At least the Munsters had Marilyn Munster. At least she was normal. Like, this whole family's fucked up.
Carnival. I think you would have fit. Well, you would have fit right in.
Yeah, Dangerous Day would have fit right in with them.
Well, I have morals. There's some morals in Dave's Carnival. We do have, morals.
Right. During his incarceration, Kuklinski granted interviews to prosecutors, psychiatrists, criminologists, and writers. Several television producers also spoke to Kuklinski about his criminal career, upbringing, and personal life. These talks culminated in 3 televised documentaries known as the Iceman tapes, broadcast on HBO in 1992, 2001, and 2003. According to his daughter, Mary Kuklinski, her mother convinced Richard to do the interviews, and she was paid handsomely for them. Did I say handsome?
Yeah.
Oh, yep. In the last installment, The Iceman and the Psychiatrist, Kuklinski was interviewed by forensic psychiatrist Park Dietz in 2002. Dietz stated he believed Kuklinski suffered from antisocial personality disorder plus paranoid personality disorder. Writers Anthony Bruno and Philip Carlo wrote biographies of Kuklinski. Kuklinski's wife, Barbara, received a share of the profits from the Bruno books. Of course, he's going to keep continuing saying he's doing all of this. He wanted his wife to get paid because he felt bad for being such a piece of shit.
Oh, yeah, they're on the gravy train, right? Exactly.
He was just trying to make money for her to live because he was not able to do it. So, I would continue with lies to keep getting documentaries too. In October,
then she divorced him because of money problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a smart lady.
I don't know. In October 2005, after nearly 18 years in prison, Kuklinski was diagnosed with Kawasaki disease. He was transferred to a secure wing at St. Francis Medical Center in Trenton, New Jersey. Although he had asked doctors to make sure they revived him if he developed cardiopulmonary arrest, his former wife Barbara had signed a do not resuscitate order.
Of course she did.
A week before his death, the hospital called Barbara to ask if she wished to resign the instruction.
Rescind.
Yep, but she declined. Kuklinski died
Her exact words were, fuck no.
Yeah, probably.
Kuklinski died at age 70 on March 5th. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. 2006. At the request of Kuklinski's family, forensic pathologist Michael Baden reviewed his autopsy report. Baden confirmed that Kuklinski died of cardiac arrest, and had been suffering with heart disease and phlebitis.
Phlebitis.
Yeah. I'm laughing because
What is Kawasaki disease?
So this is what I thought was weird. So Kawasaki disease happens in like
cycle.
Isn't that like when you get like E. coli or like feces or something in your body?
It happens in kids typically, and it causes problems with their heart. So I don't know how or why this guy had it, because he's old as shit. But yeah, so
prison.
I thought it was
but it's still so weird because
I heard it comes in cycles.
It's usually just kids who get it.
Well, Mason, Nikki's son, had it. That's what I was saying. And they told him he got it from like feces or something.
But you don't die from it. That's the thing. Like you're sick for like 5 days, and then you like shed your skin. Like it comes off. Like it like sloths off. Like I think it's just
like an iguana.
Yeah, like your hands and feet though. And then like that's the last like phase of it, and then you're fine. So I don't understand.
Is that what that is? The same thing?
No, I don't think so.
You said it came off your hands and feet.
No, like your skin comes off your hands and feet.
Like at home having a cup of tea and the doctor calls. You want to make sure you want to rescind that order of do not resuscitate. Go fuck yourself, doc. No, I don't.
Yeah,
well, she got all her money, so
I feel bad for the daughters too. His 2 daughters.
Yeah.
Well, he was like super close with the older one. I'm going to assume that was Merrick. He was super close with her, and she knew that he was like what he did, because he would take her out fishing. Like it was their thing that they did together, and he would confide in her of all the stuff he was doing. Like she knew it all.
That's got to mess somebody up.
She was aware of everything he was doing, the pirated pornographies, the killings. Like he confided in her. Like they were super close.
That's strange.
Hey, wow. Told it too. You
that's bizarre.
You'll be swimming.
And just her though, huh?
Just her, the oldest daughter. Yeah. He apparently didn't have a good relationship.
Have any of these like children done any kind of interviews?
I didn't see anything. All I saw was his.
I'd love to hear what you have.
I listened to. I'll have to go back and see where it was. I listened to like a 3-hour podcast on it. Like I listened to it on audiobooks or something like that on my phone.
One of the daughters is available. What she does is she goes around and consoles other kids and families whose fathers have done this, or families whose kids have been killed by people like her father. She goes and consoles them, consults them. One of the daughters, I don't know which one it is that does that.
Probably the oldest one. I mean, she was hearing about all of it.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this man is just disgusting. But
so
at 6'5", 300 pounds.
What do you guys say? Like I'm going to say he killed 10 people. What do you guys think?
I think that I do believe he killed homeless people. God knows how many homeless people he killed that he was practicing.
I think he killed a few strays that were on account. Yeah, I believe that too.
So I'm going to say upwards as 20, but I don't think any more than that. And that just includes the homeless people too. And I don't want to think about how many animals he killed. But I
say like 10 or 15.
Okay.
I'd say up to 20. I'd say up to 20.
But I don't think that they were that many. I don't think that they were like all for the mafia. I think maybe 1 or 2, because there was that one No, that was in New York. That was a city cop. I don't know. I think that a couple might have been for the mafia, but I don't think he was as big with the Bonanno crime family, the Gaudis. I don't think any of that. I think that was all a lie. I think in his head he wanted to do that, and in his head he believed it, but it wasn't true.
I think once they started getting paid for these interviews, it's like, I'm going to keep the bullshit coming because we're getting paid for it.
Yeah,
that's what I think too.
I think it was. I mean, this guy really had, to me, like he was an amazing storyteller. He could tell. He could have been a wrestler. I mean, he cut these promos with a straight face. You didn't know if he was, is he bullshitting me or is he not? I think most of it was fabricated, though.
He definitely had to kill a lot of people, even if it wasn't for the mafia and it was just like the robberies, because a lot of people said that this man had a shit ton of money. So it had to have been coming from somewhere.
Yeah, he was robbing everyone he was killing.
No, but he had a copious amount of money. Like he had
whatever in that Swiss bank account or whatever they were saying.
Yeah,
like $2 million or something.
Well, he said that it was over and over there because he had contract killing with the mafia. They would send him over there to kill people.
Well, he was going to kill. He was also going to kill the cop at the end because the cop supposedly had a friend that was a coke dealer or wanted to buy coke, and he had all the money on him, and that's what they were. And Richard Kuklinski was going to kill the cop. It was a phony story. It was a ruse, but Richard Kuklinski was going to kill the cop and the person that was bringing the money to buy the coke. Is that cash?
Yeah, he's digging around in all his basket of toys trying to get something. I had to dump it out for him. I don't know what he wants. Oh, he wanted one of his bones.
But yeah, I think that he fabricated about 80% of his stories. I think that he killed multiple homeless people, multiple cats, multiple innocent dogs, maybe innocent people that he was practicing. Remember, he said to practice killing with a bow. He killed some innocent dude on the street. He shot some. I believe he did all that stuff, but I don't believe.
Hope he didn't kill any rabbits. What rabbits?
I don't think he was killing rabbits.
I don't know. Who knows what?
But I really do think he used the time in jail to really build himself up, put himself over. I don't think he was anything near what he said he was. I mean, he was a hustler.
Yeah,
I agree.
But I do think he must have killed and robbed multiple people, not for the mafia, just himself doing it.
Yeah, there's people he killed that he didn't. Yeah. Somebody's. This guy Lawrence Stimson said his story about Mr. Softy was also a bull. He didn't know him, but I still don't get it. Did this happen where? In New Jersey?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there was Mr. Softy in New Jersey.
Yeah, he knew Mr. Softy.
It's possible. Yeah.
That's where he got his cyanide from, Mr. Softy.
That's where he learned that stuff.
He ain't wearing his hat for no reason. He killed Mr. Softy. He killed the children's ice cream man.
Well, he wasn't an ice cream man. It was all a ruse.
So that Mr. Softy was a heel, though, right? I mean, he wasn't really a good guy.
He was a contract killer, and he would use that as his Mr. Softy. He would sell ice cream out of it, but he would use it as a way to be able to get through these neighborhoods, scope them out, see what they're doing, like what they look like, who's doing what and where. He could be anywhere at any time, and no one would suspect him because he's Mr. Softy. But he also sold ice cream. He still sold the ice cream.
I gotcha.
Yeah. It was an undercover gig to get around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that hat, Dave. Are you going to wear that next week or just wore for this week?
To be honest with you, my daughter here, Tori, made that for me.
Don't say that out loud. It's like a 5-year-old.
Made it for me last night because...
Hey, it's better than whatever I can make, so...
I mean, how can you kill Mr. Softy? He's going around with an ice cream truck.
He was a murderer. He wasn't a real Mr. Softy. He killed people.
Well, he still made.
You know, it's so funny though how ironic that the term Mr. Softy, though, when you're a kid, it means everything to you, and when you're an adult male, you dread that term.
Yeah. Well, right now I'm on a Softy kick, so my go-to thing at Dairy Queen right now is a
twist.
A twist with Jimmy's. A twist with half and half chocolate and soft vanilla with Jimmy's. That's my go-to thing right now. So, Mr. Softy ice cream. Nope, nothing.
Tiffany's gonna have to take him. You're gonna have to take this man to DQ when he gets home tomorrow because he's been
No, we're back on our diets. We're eating healthy now. No more DQ.
What? What are you, sick?
She's a liar. You just FaceTimed us on Saturday night and you got beat up by your dog and then you were on your way to DQ. You liar.
That was Saturday. Today is Monday.
How much?
It's a new week.
How many calories could a medium cone at Dairy Queen be?
So I don't even get a medium. I get a mini blizzard.
I get a large cone, Betty. I don't go small. I go
mini
big.
blizzard's got to be what? Maybe 300 calories tops.
I think it's like 350 or something. That when I looked at the sugar.
Well, when you're eating 10,000 calories a day over here, that's not.
When we go, we also bring cash. We give them a pup cup, so that's also special because I feed cash in the back of the truck with the pup cup.
Yep, Dave just sits in the back of the truck like a little kid.
Yeah, the dog in the back seat. Woof, woof, and I sit there with cash. Woof, woof, woof. You know?
You're disturbing him. He's eating his bone, and he heard you barking. Now he's looking at me like, "What was that?"
Now he's distracted.
Grandpa's. I know. What's he doing? He's staring at me now. He wants to know what's going on.
Can we see cash?
I tried to get him to come up, but he just wanted his bone. He's just laying there.
Well, it's like his father, just
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, time to go home here. So
yeah,
I can honestly say that I never heard of this guy before last week, but holy crap, what a case. So, guys, if you haven't already done so, please make sure you subscribe to the Monte and the Pharaoh YouTube channel so you won't miss any episodes. Please do not forget to join yours truly and Dan Sebastiano tomorrow night at 7 o'clock for Dan and Benny in the Ring. Then on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock on When It Was Real, very special guest, the legendary Tony Gurria. Don't miss that one. That's going to be a good episode.
Wednesday night?
Don't forget. Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. Don't forget to check out The Bad Girl every Saturday from 1 to 5 Eastern Time on Funland Radio, Spinning the Oldies, and yours truly on Want Radio every Sunday at 3 o'clock for Benny the Jet and the Jet Set. I've included links for both in the description. So for not the bad girl, Brittany Brown, we missed you, Brittany, very much. Yes. I guess really like without Brittany, we realize how much she keeps us all in line. So can't wait till next week. We were definitely all over the place. So for the genius Tiffany Starr, terrible Tori Starr, and dangerous Dave, the Carnival Man, this is the one and only play. I telling everyone to stay safe, and we will see you next crime. Adios.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Bye. Everybody.